Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to continue our look at the Black Series 6-inch line from Hasbro, and we're going to take a look at the second of two brand new figures to be released in the most recent wave of Black Series figures. The figure that we're going to take a look at today is the eagerly anticipated and highly sought after Trandoshan Bounty Hunter Bossk. This is an awesome figure, and I've got to say I was really excited to add this guy to my collection. I'm a huge fan of bounty hunters and I really can't wait to see the rest of them in the 6-inch line, and this guy he exceeds expectations. He really is a very cool figure. Really happy to have him in my collection, and I highly recommend that you guys hunt him down as well because he is a fantastic collectible. Really good. Before I get into the details of this figure, we are going to take a look at the packaging that he comes in. But before we get onto that, I just want to mention that if you are having any difficulty tracking these figures down at retail, be that Bossk or Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise that I previously reviewed, then as always, please feel free to check out the link in the video description, which will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk. And at the time of filming this review, both of these figures are currently in stock. So again, if you are having trouble finding them at brick and mortar stores, online is the place to go, and Star Action Figures is your best bet. So let's take a look at this figure in a little bit more detail, but as I said, we are going to take a look at the box he comes in first. Now once again, the packaging for the Black Series 6-inch line is very nice, very sleek, very professional, very cool overall. Now as I mentioned in my last review, the Black Series 6-inch line will be undergoing a little bit of a packaging makeover when the Force Awakens products hit in the fall. Now this is the most recent design for the Black Series 6-inch packaging, and in the fall this will be the third design that we've seen. Now of the three designs that have been released by Hasbro so far, I've got to say the fall 2015 packaging looks to be the best yet. It really does look cool. It just looks a little bit more exciting. There's much more going on, whereas with this particular box, you know, it's very sleek but very minimal. Not a whole lot going on, so you know that could be conceived as being a little bit boring, but for me personally I quite like it. You know, it's sleek, it's professional, that minimal look gives it that adult collector feel, and I really do like it, so no major complaints about the packaging. As you can see on the top of the box we do have an image of Bossk himself, as well as down at the bottom the name of the character and the number in the series, as well as the Black Series logo itself. On the reverse side we have a stylized image of Bossk from The Empire Strikes Back, and we also have a character description and the Star Wars logo just there as well. Now I've got to say this is an awesome figure. I'm really impressed with him. I think he looks fantastic, and Hasbro just exceeded expectations with this guy. You know, he really does look the part. Now obviously being a 6-inch figure, he does have an absolute ton of articulation, and I'll cover that in just a little bit. But one thing that I wasn't expecting to see with this particular figure was an articulated face. Now you may be thinking, what the hell is he talking about? What, do the eyelids move or what? What's going on? Well, Hasbro included a really cool feature with this particular figure. Now as you can see, Bossk is wearing this sort of flight vest, which does hinder a little bit of the movement in the head. However, if you do manage to just pop the head up ever so slightly, you can then proceed to drop the jaw, which is really cool. Just an awesome feature all around. Hope you're getting a good look at that. Just absolutely fantastic attention to detail there. Absolutely love the addition of the hinged jaw. I think it really adds a lot of depth to the figure, and it just makes it a little bit different, you know, a little bit more exciting than just a regular Bossk figure. As you can see as well, the sculpting work is absolutely phenomenal on this figure. Inside the mouth we have the teeth, we have the tongue as well sculpted in there, and obviously the skin texture and coloration there on the face is just absolutely awesome. So much cool detail going on in this figure, which I really like. That's the one plus to the 6-inch line, I think. Even though we are paying a little bit more for these action figures, the level of detail is just ever so increased, you know, obviously due to the much bigger scale. It allows much more freedom for sculpted detail, and so far very few of these figures have disappointed, and you know, I'm a huge fan of the 6-inch line. Bossk is no exception. He looks absolutely amazing, and that detail does continue round into the arms, obviously the hands or the claws there as well, and obviously the very large Trandoshan lizard-like feet down on the bottom there. In terms of the rest of the figure, he is really well sculpted. You've got all the harnesses and tubes and all that sort of stuff going on the flight suit. You've got those decals or logos printed there on the shoulders. And the colour is pretty damn accurate, you know. You've got that nice vibrant yellow to the flight suit. You've got the white flight vest there with all the appropriate details sculpted onto that. Again, the skin texture on Bossk himself is just absolutely awesome. I love the detail in the scales. I love the different shading between the fingers. Just all around an awesome looking figure. He really looks fantastic. Now, as I mentioned, he does come with a ton of articulation. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, some of that articulation in the head in particular is hindered due to the slightly elevated flight vest that he's wearing. Obviously there's not a whole lot of room to accommodate the hinge in the neck, but he does have a joint at the head nonetheless. Now, in terms of additional articulation, we get shoulder joints, we get joints at the elbow, joints at the wrist as well. We have a ball jointed or a swivel toe, so it's more of a swivel. And again, some of that movement is restricted by this sort of very large pipe that runs from the back round to the front of the figure. We do indeed receive, I believe, no swivel waist with this guy, just a swivel torso. We get hinged hips, so obviously the figure can do the splits. We have swivels at the thigh, double joints at the knee, and double joints and a pivot at the ankle, so you can really get some fantastic poses out of this figure. And again, the sculpting work really does do a whole lot to hide some of those articulation points, especially in the flight suit. As you can see, those creases and folds in there really do a good job of hiding the joints, and overall he just looks like a fantastic figure. He's definitely one of my favourites from the 6-inch line so far. He's going to look great alongside Boba Fett and IG-88 when he's eventually released. And I really can't wait to see more bounty hunters released in the 6-inch line. Can't wait for Dengar, for Lom. You know, they've got to be on the way, surely. But yeah, this is an awesome figure. Highly recommended, and for me personally, he is the pick of this recent wave of Black Series figures. Now, as I mentioned in my last review, there are 2 brand new figures to collect from this brand new wave, and those are of course Bossk and Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise. However, as a full case, you can purchase these guys alongside 2 repacks, and those are Chewbacca and the TIE Fighter pilot, who have of course previously been released. So if you have had any trouble finding any of those figures, they are available as a case assortment. I believe those will be coming in stock at Star Action Figures in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for those, pick them up if you haven't done already. Again, Bossk is a must-have for the collection, highly recommended figure, and just an all-round fantastic toy. Really recommended. Go out and get one, guys. You will not regret it. So that is going to do it for this review on Bossk from the Black Series 6-inch line. Obviously, one thing to point out before I forget is the fact that he does come with a weapon, which is the traditional Bossk blaster rifle that we've seen with most of the 3 3/4 inch figures since around 2004. Again, it's a nice interpretation of the weapon. You've got the harness there so you can sling it over his shoulder if need be. And it's a really nice sculpt. A little bit of weathering wouldn't have gone amiss, but for the most part it looks really nice. And it fits in the hand really well as well. So all in all, a fantastic figure, highly recommended. And if I were you, I'd definitely not hesitate to pick this guy up. So again, thank you for watching this review, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Until my next one, I'll be back to give you a look at some Lego coming up next, so stay tuned for that. So again, until next time, as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.